Welcome all of you guys who are watching. My name is Jaya Prakash Pathak, and today I'm going to be covering TypeScript like fully, like in and out, like everything, almost whatever I know about TypeScript, right? So I'll be covering all of them. Before that, I don't know how many of you are here right now. So um, can I am just waiting for everyone to join. Stats. Okay, no stats. Okay. I'm just I'm just trying to see my YouTube stats and whoever is here. This is a TypeScript stream, so we'll be learning a lot about TypeScript in this particular stream. I don't know, I cannot find. Hold on. Not this one. Hold on. I want to see my stats, and then we'll start from like everything about TypeScript right now. So go live, manage, and here's our stream. So all of you guys, welcome and hello and yeah, welcome. So we'll be learning about TypeScript in this particular video. We will be learning everything about TypeScript, almost whatever is there, whatever main functionality, whatever you will be using in your day-to-day development. We'll be learning all of those things. So if you are excited like me for this particular video, uh, be ready, okay? And I'll be also asking you guys the questions. So be ready with your editors because I would be asking questions from you guys as well. Okay, so right now, first thing what we'll do is I'll go to this thing called TypeScript and this website called TypeScript. And then first of all, let's discuss why TypeScript, why is it required? Like, why do we even need TypeScript, a language like TypeScript? We'll be learning this. Okay. Uh, there was some way to embed chat. I just don't want that to be a distraction. Uh, I would like, hold on, where's my chat? Let me see. I just want to see if you guys are asking any questions that should be answered. I'll just pop this out, place with my other screen, and there you go. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All of you guys, welcome. Like the stream so that more people could be notified and everybody learns. And yeah, let's get started. First of all, where will you start from? You'll start from docs, right? So it will be so we'll be going. I think so. It's handbook. Yeah, it's handbook. So we'll be going to the handbook and we'll be covering this in this order. So we'll be going to the from the basics to everyday using type manipulation, all these things. So this will be our order, right? So all of you guys who are watching, this is going to be our order. And yeah, so if you want to follow along, you can, like, later on if you are practicing, this is this is the place from where I'll be explaining things. Okay, let's get started. First of all, let's learn how to set up a TypeScript project and why do we even need TypeScript. Let's go to TypeScript and let's create a folder called TypeScript learn, and let's go to TypeScript. Yeah, okay, all of you guys could see this, right? I mean, yeah, let's go. Yes, Fazil, let's go. uh, So we have created a folder, and the next thing what we want to do is we want to create a TypeScript project. Now, TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. What do I mean by superset of JavaScript? It simply means that TypeScript gives types to JavaScript. Like, the name is quite self-explanatory, right? It gives type to the JavaScript. Like, for example, I will open this in Visual Studio Code. That's the editor I use. You can use any other editor. I'll create a JavaScript file first. Let's see where is the need, right? So for example, let's say you write let a is equal to test, right? So in JavaScript, a is not having any type. You can actually write this like this is valid JavaScript. But in normal coding, in a programming language, this is a bad practice. If you are changing the type, this is a bad practice. This could lead to errors. This could lead to a lot of confusion. And this is bad in general, right? Second problem, right? Let's say someone else has written a function, right? So it will take a, and then we return a times a, right? So we say return a times a, and this is like the name of this function is test, right? Now how do you know what could be passed in a? Like, is it a string, is it a number? So, and see, the problem is a times a requires to be a number, right? So if I do this, this shouldn't be allowed, bro. This like test shouldn't be allowed. This will throw error. But during, while I'm making the program, this is not throwing any error. This is bad. This is bad code, right? Because this is not giving me any errors while creating the program. TypeScript solves this problem. TypeScript will tell you that that is a wrong code, fix the code, right? It will not it will not break your code while in the runtime. It will in basically in the editor it will tell you, right? So that's the requirement of TypeScript, right? It does a lot of other things, but this was the basic introduction. Let's start with creating a TypeScript, right? How will you create a TypeScript? Not copy, I mean delete. Let's delete this JavaScript class. Okay, so the first thing is you would need to let's create a normal JavaScript like node project. So how do you do this? I'm using yarn. You can use anything what you wish, npm bun whatever, right? So there is one short way is like you can use bun init and -y, but I wouldn't do this way, right? Because you will not be having a very clear understanding of how TypeScript is working. I will do it using yarn, right? I'll do yarn init y. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask in the live session. That's why I'm doing this live, because I want all of you guys to ask questions. Please do ask questions. Okay, so we have yarn init y. That hyphen y, basically it would have asked a lot of questions. That dash y answered all the questions yes, right? There you go. So we have initialized yarn. This has given us a package.json file, the command which we ran, right? So now what we have to install the compiler which will convert our TypeScript to JavaScript. That is TypeScript. That's right? And we'll be installing it. That dash D is basically we'll be installing this for development. So this is a dev dependency. So we'll be installing TypeScript over here. So that if you see adds a dev dependency which is TypeScript. Cool. Okay. Now cool. So if you create a TypeScript file right now, so if you create an index.ts file right now, whatever, like you write some TypeScript, like for example, like let's write like const a is equal to 25, and now like one problem immediately solved. You can't do this. See, there's an error, right? But I don't want to show that to you right now. I just want to show you how you can compile this to JavaScript right now. So now what you can do is you can go over here and you can say scripts. I'll definitely script, like all of you guys who are like new to this, I'll be explaining how scripts go. Scripts is that any command which you would like to run using any of the dependencies, even like without any dependencies, any command which you would like to run during the program could be written over here. So for example, the key is the command, the value is what you want to do. All valid JavaScript code is a valid TypeScript code. No, it is not true, Fazil. All valid JavaScript code is not a valid TypeScript code. Okay. For example, I'll just show you an example over here. I'll just create a JS file, right? I'll create a JS file. I'll just write test a. I'll just write the same thing which I wrote before, right? A times a, right? This is sorry, this is not const, this is function, right? And then if I just do this, this is a valid JavaScript, right? It's not throwing any error. You can see this is not throwing any error. But if I do the same thing in TypeScript, right? I'll just go to the TS file. I'll write it over here. You can see this is throwing error because this, like the type of A has to be defined. So every JavaScript code is not a valid TypeScript code, right? So yeah, on a basic level, this is the thing. Let's delete the JavaScript file again. Okay, so let's continue our thing. So now over here in the package.json, you can say something called build or compile or whatever. You can name this whatever. Just make sure that when you run the command, it is the same command when like with yarn. I'll just show you what do I mean by that. And there's something called TSC, and now you'll be confusing why this. What is this TSC? This comes from TypeScript, and this is TypeScript compiler. The full form of TSC is TypeScript compiler. Okay, so great. So this will help us, whatever TypeScript file we will be having, this will compile that for us. Great. So if I will it compile, that's the question. Let's see. So if I just do yarn build, see, it will throw an error, right? The error is because this requires a configuration. This requires a configuration. If I do this index.ts, this will run now. I guess it will run. I'm not sure. Yeah, this will run. So see, so from this TS, which is this TypeScript file, this generated a JavaScript file. So you can see this is how it is and this is how it is. But if you have a larger project, you would require, you will be like, it will be required to have a configuration to basically keep things in a way, like in a good shape, right? So this is not how you do this. You don't compile a single file, you compile an entire project. How do you compile an entire project? Let's do one thing. Let's create one thing. Let's create a source folder where we would like all the source code of our application to be, right? So here we'll be having all the source code, um, and uh, and here we'll be having an index.ts file. Sorry, I named this wrong. Please feel free to ask any questions which you have, right? And now we'll be creating a file called tsconfig.json. I'll tell you a shortcut to create this file, but let's learn this tsconfig file first, and then we'll be learning about any other stuff. Okay. So this is the JSON file. As you can see, the extension is .json. So this is a JSON file, and this takes an option called compiler options, right? So, so what is this compiler options? I'll definitely be explaining you in a while. So this compiler action, it's suggesting me few things. Let's turn off the suggestion, bro. Again, I think suggestion will make the learning less. Okay. So the compiler option, you're telling few things to the compiler that here is how I would like my TypeScript to be compiled, right? So here is, feel free to ask any question. All of you guys, I'm asking, like, this is a live, take benefit of this, ask any questions if you have. Okay. And if you don't have, let's like show your excitement, say, hey, I'm excited, I'm here, I'm listening to you. Just that would be also amazing. I would be inspired. Okay. So we have compiler options. The first thing what we pass is, we pass the target. Now what is target? Target is what is the result TypeScript. Like, if you know, JavaScript is actually made, like JavaScript entirely is is coming out of something called ECMAScript, right? ECMAScript. I would Google this right now. ECMAScript. This is the place from where JavaScript comes out. So ECMAScript, right? So this is the version of ECMAScript, a version of JavaScript as an output you would want. So I would want, like, let's say ES6 as an output, right? So I would say ES6 will be my option, which I would like the output to be. Now, then the module is like, what is your source code? What is the version of JavaScript of your source code? So the version of JavaScript is Node Next, right? Node Next is like whatever the latest version of Node is. That's simply what we are saying. Whatever the latest version of Node, just give us that. Great. Next thing what we need is, we need an output dir, which is like, what would you like to call your dictionary in which your output code will be going on. So what we would like to call it is test. We would like to call it test. Okay. Now the next thing what you have to tell the compiler of TypeScript is, what would you like the input folder to be, like where to look code for. That is your root dictionary, right? So we want to say src is our root dictionary, and you can just specify like this is also completely fine. So like, yeah, so these things. Next, if you would like there's something called strict. Now if you guys are like a little bit confused in the future, like, okay, how does this work, how, and you can hover over this and this will tell you, bro, this will tell you how this, like, what does this do, like hover over all these, this will tell you what it does. So what does the strict mode do? Strict mode simply strictly applies all the rules and like warns you, like, hey, you cannot do like something which is not allowed in TypeScript. So we'll be saying this is true, and we'll be doing one more thing which I'll be explaining you in a while, so which is source map. Source map, like as its name suggests, source map maps your source code, with the compiled version. I can see a result. I specialize in MERN stack, and now I want to move from JS to TS to build my full MERN stack application. So should I start learning TypeScript? What is the roadmap? You should absolutely, Mehdi, you should absolutely consider learning TypeScript. I would say that's highly useful. If your project size grows beyond a certain level, you would require TypeScript, because JavaScript becomes very buggy after some times. Okay, let's continue on this source map. Okay, so source map will be saying true. What is source map? Source map simply tells your VS code that what part of your code is generating what output. How this will help? This will help in debugging, and we'll be also learning debugging this particular video, how you can debug TypeScript code very, very efficiently using VS code. So if you are excited for all of these, I am excited. Let's start learning in the chats. I am excited. And let me drink some water, I guess. Okay, after a quick water break, let's continue. Okay, so now let's start writing code. The first thing what we'll do is, inside the source directory, we'll just write a log. So yes, this is working, right? Yes, this is working. Awesome. So now in the build command, in the build, you just have to remove this index.tsx and just write tsc. It will automatically. Hey Yash, what's up? We are going from basic to advanced TypeScript in this video. So welcome to the stream, Yash. And yeah, so we have build and we have TSC. What is TSC? TSC stands for TypeScript compiler, and this will automatically pick this TS config file and will kind of like work. Let's see. If it doesn't work, we'll fix that. Okay, it works. So this is the timing. How much time did it took to compile it? It is 1.08 seconds. And this is the output folder, and this is the output file, and this is compatible with ES6 version of Node, right? It will run everywhere. Like that's okay. So this is compiled. And how will you run this? Very simple. You just do node desk/index.js, and yes, this is working. We are able to, yes, code with Anish. Hi, code with Anish. We are doing TypeScript today. Welcome all of you guys watching. So yes, this is working. That means our TypeScript code is successfully compiling. So we have the first level done, which is setting up a TypeScript project. Again, great. All of you guys, everything makes sense? If yes, say everything makes sense, and I can continue. Yeah, I joined your last stream, and I'll join every alternate stream for sure. Okay, I'll be coding every alternate day. Use PNPM or Bun. That is also a great idea. But Mehdi, what I wanted to explain in this particular stream is how do you set up a project, like how TypeScript compiler works. That's why I used. Otherwise, all of you guys watching, if you don't want to take this hassle, just use Bun in it, and just you'll have a TypeScript project initially, like immediately. You wouldn't require it, like you wouldn't need to set up all of these. I just wanted to explain you from the core how does it work. Okay, great. So now let's continue. We have an index.ts file, and let's start writing TypeScript. Okay, great. So I would put all of you guys again. I will be saying, hold on, I am following this. So this will be a hierarchy. So we'll be starting from the basics, everyday type, narrowing, more on functions. So this will be a hierarchy. This will be on my other screen. So if you're watching this afterwards, just follow that. Okay, let's get started. We are finally having some TypeScript. Okay, so the first thing, let's start with the basics. The basics are first of all types, right? Let me actually, okay, great. So the first is, if you say a and then you say test, right? This is how you declare a variable in TypeScript. You'll say, okay, this is the same. Hold on, we have a call. Hold on. Okay, there was a call. We'll attend that later on. But basically, you have test, right? And you have a variable, so it automatically inherited the type string, right? You could specify specifically, let's say you want to specify the type of some variable. How you do it is you do a and like something like, let's call it something like str. So this is like you do a semicolon and then you do string and then you specify. By the way, this is not required in this case, right? By please, it will take 30 seconds. Do you type test on monkey dash type, please? Very old. Please, I am. Oh, you want me to type in monkey test? Okay, there's a call. Hold on, bro. I'll just take this call. This guy is calling me again and again. I'll have to see. Okay, hold on. Um, Okay, we are back. Okay, we'll be doing a typing test. How many of you are excited? TS config file can't install by default with this setup. What? TS config file can't install by default with setup. Oh, so you want a TS config file by default? That's also an option, bro. You can. So I'll be telling you, all of you guys who doesn't want to write this TS config file every time, right? There's a trick. You can do npx ts config.json, right? Do this, and it will ask you a few questions. Generate ts config file with weed, then proceed with the explanation. Yeah, that's also one of the things. You can generate a ts config file with weed, but I actually wanted to explain you how ts config file is generated. So you can select node and this will generate. No worries, bro. I just like a lot, like I what I see is in like when you're beginning, you don't understand what all these options mean. So all of you guys who are watching, please, I want you to understand. It is a learning process, right? So that's why I wrote this by hand. Okay, so I think someone wanted me to write like do a typing test. Let's do that. Let's do a typing test. Let's do a typing test. Let's do a typing test. Who was that? I think Yash, no? Who wanted a typing test? Okay, Yash Tiwari. Okay, let's do a typing test. I'm 114 words per minute. That's my typing speed right now. Yeah, I guess that's my typing speed. Whoever was asking for a typing test, that's there you go. This is my speed right now. I think my highest speed is way more than this. I don't know what my highest speed. Actually, I've forgotten what is my highest speed. I think it would be like 100 and something like that. 100 and something. 26, 126 words per minute. Yeah. I can do a video on how to increase typing speed someday. Okay, but let's continue on the TypeScript, bro. Okay, so this is how you this is how you like explicitly tell what is the type. So let's say if this is not defined, right? So this is how you tell like, okay, str has string type. Okay, so for example, you can say something like a has a like number type, right? Okay, and something like that. So you can define explicitly tell the type of a variable using this whatever semicolon, whatever you say. This is how you define variables in TypeScript. Let's continue. Okay, let's continue fast. uh where is that TypeScript? Okay, there you go. So so the first thing, by it was me, I watched all your stream. Remember? Yes, bro, I definitely remember. Yes, I remember. Okay, we got it. So let's place it over here so that I can see your chat while I am doing this TypeScript. Okay, so now if you see every time while you code and you just run the code, you code and then you run the code. That's a very annoying process, right? What would you would want is whenever you code something and you save, you click save, um, um, and I'll try to join this placement series. You're gonna stream every alternate day, right? Yes, I'll try my best to stream every alternate day if my health is okay and I don't have a lot of work. Otherwise this will be continuing, don't worry. If there will be some delay or I'll not won't be available, I'll be informing you, all of you guys. So okay, so we have string, we have a. Let's learn. So all of these, what you're saying is these are basic like basic data types. So do you call it basic data type? What do you call it? I don't specifically know, but everyday use. Okay, so there are a lot of other basic data types. For one is called number, this one. Another is called string, right? Another is called I think boolean. uh, then we have function example. Of course we'll be having function as well. Hold on, I just want to tell you every data types. Okay, so every data type. Then we have array like this, and then I think array doesn't come under basic data type. What else do we have? Let's not learn all these. Like let's practice and eventually we'll be covering this. Okay, great. Do we have okay, so let's learn some basic things, right? Yeah, primitive data types. Stage is actually correct. Primitive data types. Hold on. So let's learn all the primitive data types. So primitive data types, right? So please excuse me for my spellings, bro. I'm very bad with spellings. Okay, so the first is string. How do you define string? It's like this. Second is number, right? Third is I think boolean. Fourth is object. Is object a primitive data type? Let me see. Hold on. There you go. Okay. So so according to JavaScript docs, the most commonly used data types in TypeScript are these three, which is string, boolean, number, right? And after this, you have a lot of other data types as well. So you have you have number data type. So we have, okay, I think I have already specified. So if you look at the doc right now, right? So if you look at the doc, right? The primitive data type are string, number, and boolean, which is these are the core data types which you will be using in most of the cases. Like explain when should we use implicit and explicit. Okay, so I think Mehdi has a question, when should we use implicit data type and explicit data type. Okay, so Mehdi, the thing is, when you exactly know what is the data, like when you know what is the data, right, it will automatically assign the data type. For example, if I write this, right, A knows what is the data type, right? If I do this, right, like this, the type of B is string, right? If I do this, right, you got the point, right? This knows what is the data type of these things, right? So if you know the data beforehand, you can define, you don't need to define the type. If you don't know that, like if the value is going to come later on, but strict, you want some strict type checking to happen while coding, just give like specify a data type beforehand. Okay, so that's how it works. So if this part is clear, we'll be moving ahead. uh, right, we'll be talking about some other data types which are not primitive but quite important in TypeScript. I think some of the very important data types. So okay, so what if like, okay, so that's a like a, if I write test, right, and I want to assign it like this, right, this is the error, right? Hey bro, great initiative. Hey Ayush, what's up, how are you? We are doing TypeScript. So if you want to do this, right, if this is the requirement of your code, let's say, let's for example, like this is your requirement, how will you do it, right? This is the requirement, you want to assign it to a different value and you want to do it, even though this is a bad practice, you want to do it. How do you do it? So you can assign a special type called any type. Any type means that variable would have any type, like it could be anything, right? Something like argument. No, what do you mean by argument, bro? Yeah, exactly, it's like yeah, when you don't know the value, then you, bro, how do you switch your cursor type? I mean, one, oh, bro, I am not switching my cursor type. I'm using Vim. So this is insert mode. This is normal mode. So this is not cursor type. This is insert mode. And when I'm normal mode, like I can move my cursor. We'll be doing a Vim tutorial someday, but let's continue on our TypeScript right now. So we have an any type. Remember, if anybody I think is clear with any type means you can define absolutely anything to that. So I can even say A is equal to false. Right? So any type. Free tip, free pro tip, try to avoid any type as much as possible in your code, right? Try to avoid any type as much as possible in your code. Okay, great. Type annotation, we have already done. Functions, let's do functions, bro. Functions, focus. We are moving fast because we have to cover a lot of things in this short stream, right? We should not use any. It is not that you should not use any, because there are few situations where there's no option other than using any, but you should try as much as possible to not use any, like to write a safer code, right? Try as much as possible to not use any. That's what I'll say. Okay, let's move ahead. Let's talk about functions. So let's write a normal function, let's say. So there's two types of function. One is called arrow function. How do you write an arrow function? So you say test, let's say I pass two variables, like this is how you write in JavaScript, right? And like for example a plus b, right? How will you make this type safe? So the first way is how to give a type to the parameter. So you can say this, I want this to be a number, this also has to be a number, right? Great. So this is how you define the types of parameter of a function, right? This is how you do it. But how do you define the return type, right? This function could like return literally anything. I could, instead of this, I could return like test. That's a completely valid thing. So how do you specify a return type of this function, right? So what you do is you go over here and you say this should return a number. So this is the place where you actually specify the return type of a function. If that is clear, we'll move ahead, and we'll be also talking about how to do this for non arrow function. So let's say if I write like another like function test1, right? And if I do a b and I do this, and I'll just make the same thing in like using this function keyword, right? How to do this over here? It's also pretty simple. It's quite the same. You just specify number you go over here, you specify the number, right? And then yeah, so return type you again specify over here, which is in our case it is also number. There you go. If you don't follow any of these rules which you have defined over here, this will throw an error. Okay, I'll tell you another way, a cleaner way to define the type of these functions, right? If you notice, right, these two functions have the same type, right? They have two inputs with number as the parameter and one number as an output of that particular function. Like that's what it returns. So you can explicitly say type, whatever, you can name this something like some type, right? You can name this anything, is actually a function that returns a number. And this is a little bit advanced, like not advanced but a little bit. How do we do it with alias? How do we do it with alias? I didn't get you, bro. What do you mean by alias? So the first parameter is number, the second parameter is number as well. So you can do the same thing with this. So now this, what do you say, some type, you don't have to do like this. So you can say a comma b directly, and you don't have to specify anything though. So this will so you just go over here and you just say, okay, this test variable is of type some type. There you go. So this is way cleaner than what we wrote. But don't do this for every function. If there is only one function, define that type directly over here. But if you have multiple function with similar type, right, take their type outside of the function. I would say something like, create something like this. So you can say type, some type, and then whatever the parameter somewhat looks like and whatever the output is, right? That's completely valid. So you can do the same thing over here. You can just say a comma b, and instead of the type having number, you can say this is of type some type. No, this is not how you do it. I think this is how you can, okay, so function, I don't think so you can specify a type like this in function, not sure, but but this is how you can do it in arrow function. Great. I think functions was clear, right? How to make normal functions, something like that. This makes it type safe, bro. If I just call test, right, I cannot call it with some set of strings, or I cannot call it with less number of parameters, right? I'll have to call it with proper number of parameters. Like this is wrong, right? And this will tell you what is like wrong in this. It will tell you the argument of string is not, like, it should be number, it should be not be string. What is custom type? We'll be learning about custom type. So you can make types of your own, that is custom type, but we'll be moving into that advanced section in a while. I just don't want to jump too ahead before only, right? So that we'll be going step by step. Okay. So what do we learn? Let's summarize once what we have learned. You can do now this, how to define types for args, which is argument, how to define return types of a function, how to take types out, which is like how to define it like in a separate. So I think all of you guys who are watching can do these three things now, right? So you can now define a type of a function, and you can do this, right? Great. So let's move one step ahead now. Let's write a small code. With whatever we have learned. I think this was the basic, and you can do a lot of things just by what we have learned right now. So let's say we create let's say we want to create a function which says, okay, let's create a function like this, which says const what we, so it kind of like calculates the area, or like area of rect, right? So let's create a function for this, right? So for calculating area, you would need a length, which should be a number. We would need a breadth, which should be a number, and the return type of this should be a number as well, right? So yeah, right. What happened? I don't know. So now this is throwing us error because we haven't returned the required type, which is number, right? So what we have to do is return 2 times length plus breadth. So it should be 2 times. Replace with 2 return. Great. Okay. So we have this. What happened, bro? Am I doing something wrong? Oh, we haven't. We are doing this like this. Okay. Great. So this is area of. Give an example of pure functions. Pure functions. hold on. Pure functions. I forget the meaning of pure function. It was, bro, this is in React pure functions, right? So hold on. In computer science, especially in the world of functional programming, a pure function is a function with following character. It minds its own business. It does not change any object or variable that existed before it, but before it was called. Same input, same output. Good. So, bro, see, this is pure function according to the explanation which I'm reading, right? In JavaScript, some JavaScript functions are pure. What do you mean by pure? Pure functions only performs a calculation, nothing more. So this, what I have created right now, is a pure function. It does not do any modification to input or output. It does not modify it. It is directly like return whatever you mean. So this is a pure function where you don't modify any of the things, neither the output nor the input. That is a pure function. Okay, so let's move ahead. So we have area of rectangle, great, and now we can call it area of rect, and whatever, I can give it some length, I can give it some breadth, and there you go. So you can store the result in another variable, say test, or like let's call it area, vrwx area, uh, const, something like that, and then I can log this and I can call it area. We'll be doing some advanced TypeScript, but like let's finish off this basics first. Okay. Okay, so how do you run this? So first build this, right? So yarn build, and then, sorry. So yarn build, and then what you can do is you can just call node dist index.js, and you have the 92 as answer, which is the correct answer. Okay, great. So, but you wouldn't like to do this again and again, right? Yarn build and node run, and then those things. So there are few tools which would help you to run your code whenever there is a change in your code. How do you do that? You just do yarn add -d, and we would need nodemon, and there's something called ts node. I'll be explaining ts node. What is it? Don't worry. Ts node is like node, but it could run TypeScript files. That's what ts node is. And if you want to use nodemon with a TypeScript, you would need ts node to be installed. Okay, so we have installed all those. Let's quickly set up. So we'll be setting up a dev command right now, which will be used in development. And how we'll be doing it is nodemon, and then whatever the path of the index.ts file, and then we'll be passing something called queue. What is this queue? That means quiet mode. So nodemon writes a lot of things. I'll just show you what happens without queue. So if I just go to yarn dev, you can see it writes a lot of these lines. Bro, can you explain real life scenarios? Sure, I will be explaining a lot of real life scenarios, but let's go to the advanced part. I think these are quite the very basic. We'll be definitely explaining. First of all, let's set up our environment so that we could learn like comfortably. Then we don't have to think about anything else. Can you see this yellow and green lines? I just hate them. So what I do is I pass this like q, and then what if you run this again? It will just it will just print the output, nothing else. Okay, great. Let's continue. So we have area of rectangle. We specified a length and a breadth, and we were able to throw out an output, which is great. And this is how you do it. Okay, let's go ahead. Now we'll be learning about anonymous function. Suppose we have to create a function for adding two values, then why should we pass string to that function? Bro, see, if you have created a function, you know, right? You know that there shouldn't be a string passed. But let's say if you have created a library and there are thousands of people who have to use this, right? Because in a normal company, you are not the only person. Bro, please, all the dogs, please, can we have some silence? Thank you. Okay. They are not. Okay, so basically you are not the only person who is writing the code. You are in a team, right? So your code will be used by other person, and that person doesn't know that this is a string, this is a boolean, this is what, right? And checking your code, going and seeing how you're using it is a complex thing. It takes a lot of time, right? So just to avoid that, and to avoid just to have less errors, you need TypeScript. Okay, let's go ahead. So okay, this is great. Now we'll be learning about anonymous function and how do you define types of that. For example, let's create a test which accepts another function as an input, right? Another function as an input. A little bit complexity, not complex, but just a thing we don't use. Bro, how can I run TypeScript in terminal? Can you please share it? How can you run TypeScript in terminal? You mean like directly, like please explain script again. Oh, you mean You mean, do you want to me to explain this again? This one? Okay, so I'll be explaining this again. Okay, how does this work? This is the area of rect. There's two parameters, and as I've explained you, how do you define the type of any variable is argument is you simply give a semicolon and then define the type. So the length has type number, the breadth has type number, and the return type of this entire function. Like, what do you want to return over here? What is the type of return, right? Yeah, TS node. Arunava has quite like correct. So you just globally install TS node and run it. I think that would work. Let me try. So if I just do npm install -g ts node, yeah, if I do like ts node like this, yeah, see now like I think ts node I'm executing it in, and if I do this, this will throw an error. See, there's an error, repellent error, whatever. So this is how you run TypeScript in Node. Okay, so let's continue. This is how you work. Let's go to a like we have lots of things to cover, guys. We cannot be this slow. We cannot be this slow. We have to be fast because TypeScript is really very big. Okay. Next thing, how do you define a type for a callback function? No scripts inside package JSON. Oh, you mean package JSON? Other question was, please explain scripts inside package JSON. Okay, so scripts, see, bro, scripts are very simple things. Let's say you have any dependency over here, right? So you have nodemon, we have ts node, we have TypeScript, all of these things. These gives you few tools to work with, right? So for example, I could write a command like yarn something like that, yarn test, right? So what would you like to do? So test should run something, that you can define over here. So you can define anything over here. So for example, in our case, test, right? And then whatever command that runs your test, you can write it. So this is like just command prompt, like whatever command you write over here, you can write it over here, so that you don't have to type that long command again and again. Okay, so that's why you use scripts. So for our example, we have two script: build script, which builds our TypeScript, and dev script, which runs it in development mode. Okay, great. We have 92 again. Okay, so let's continue. Now, how do you specify type of a callback function? Okay, so let's say we have a function called what do you say? So yeah, let's say we have few names, right? So let's say we have names like Rohit, something like Alex, something like that. Okay, so we have few names, right? How do you what you can do is you can do like names dot for each, right? And element. So I'll just tell you one thing. Elements, like if whatever you are mapping or whatever array function which you are using, if like this already has a type, like this already has a type. So okay, now I have to explain this. How do you define a type for an array? So this is how you do it. So you do like, let's say I have to define an array of names. So I can do like names, right? And then I will do a string, and this is one way to do it. This is not the only way to do it. This is one way to do it. The other way is, so then I can later on define names is equal to an array test, and then I cannot write a number because number will throw an error, because I have said names. This is an array of names. Okay. Now, what is the other way to do it? The other way to do it is you can use the array function. So you can pass it like string. This is also the same thing. It's like array of names, right? So you can use this as well, kind of like the same things. Okay, so let's say we have few names, right? So let's call it test1, test2, something like test2, test3, something like that. Okay, so we have few names, right? And let's say we want to map, like go through each of them, right? So we'll say names dot for each. What I want to explain you, I'm just coming to that, right? So if I go to name, what I want to tell you is whatever type of this whatever like iteratable object you have, the type will be automatically assigned to this. So this is now string because all the elements of this is string. So actually you can check the type of something like by using type of command. So you can say type of name will give you the type of whatever name is. So you can see all the names inside this is string. What if the array contains both string and nums? Array contains both strings and nums. So you can do like this. You can give more than one type to something. So you can do string and number. So this is an array which contains both string and number, and then you can do this. So this is valid now. So you can see all of them are string, one is number. I hope so this is clear, right? Also, this was very important point made by Arunava. uh, Basically you can give multiple types to one thing. So you can say a is equal to, like, the type of a is a string as well as a number as well as something else. So you can say like boolean. So this, like, a could be a string, a number, or a boolean, right? You'll have to handle this, otherwise your code will be buggy. But you can assign more than one type to a variable. Interesting, right? Does this make sense? Anybody having any doubt? Anybody having any confusion on how this is working? I'll be literally explaining everything. Okay, there you go. This is how you specify a type to array. This is how you give multiple types to an array, and this is how you loop and you this that whatever type you've specified over here, this will be specified. So if you hover over this, this could be of type string and number because that's what you have specified over here. Great. So we have arrays now. Let's move ahead, and we'll be learning about object types, the next thing. But uh, okay, so now let's say you have a function, right? So you have a test function which which accepts a coordinate, but it does not, like a normal coordinate, it doesn't accept like that. For example, I'll explain you. Okay, so this is how it is. So it expects in something like this like something like in this fashion, right? It is an array, and it expects an, like, a latitude, let's say, which should be a number, so like something like this, right? And a longitude. So how do you say there? Lag. Forget about my spelling, just get like what I'm explaining you. Wait, I'm lost. Okay, so okay, so let's say you have to take a function, you have to create a function which takes an input like this. Now the question is, how do you specify a type of an object as an input, right? So how do you do that? It's pretty simple. Like, let's say this is the coordinate, right? So you just do a curly bracket, and then you say, okay, I want a latitude which should be a number, and I want a longitude, as it is, like, I don't know, log, longitude, lgt, I don't know, lag. Okay, so which is a number. Okay, great. So let's get rid of this. So this is how you specify a coordinate. So now what is the benefit of this? Benefit of this is whenever you will go to core and dot, you'll see it is latitude and longitude, you are getting auto completions. Great, right? Okay, so this is how you specify a type of an object. I'll explain you more on this. So if I just say a, and this is my this should be an object, then I can say a should be an object which should have which should have an a, which should be a number, or like which should have a name, which should be a which should be a string, and it should have what's like marks of some student, which should be a number. And then if you specify this will throw an error at you because you're not following whatever type you've given. So you'll have to say, like, okay, so what is the name? The name is whatever, like test, and the number is like marks is 34, something like that. That's how you specify the type of an object. If that is clear, we'll be moving ahead. If that is not clear, I'll be explaining in more simpler words. Just say yes or no. Just say yes or no fast. We have a lot of things to cover in very short span of time. Just say yes if that was clear. Just say no if that was not clear. All of you guys watching, just say yes if that was clear. Just say no if that was not clear. There's no reply, I'll be moving ahead. Please do give a reply. I just want this to be interactive. All of you guys who are watching. Okay, so I don't yes, it was clear. Great, it was clear. Okay, so this is how you specify the type, and similarly you do it in a function as well. You when you define the type of a parameter or type of an argument within a function, you do it like the same way. Okay, let's increase the complexity, guys. Let's increase the complexity. Okay, the next thing what we have in the documentation, what I can see is there's anonymous function, we have already done it. Object type, we have done it. Optional properties. Okay, optional properties. So in the object, let's take this example, right? I want another thing. I want like father's name. Okay, I want father's name, which should be a string. But for example, not father's name, what should I say? Interest, right? Can I give a, yeah? So I want to take interest, which is an array of string, right? For example, like let's say this is right, like this is how I want it. Now it's throwing an error. Let's say some student doesn't have an interest, right? Live schedule is every alternate day, Abdul. There will be a community post wherever there will be live in the morning only. I'll be doing a community post. That will be one confirmation. Other is it is the every alternate day. So tomorrow there will be no stream, most probably. Day after tomorrow there will be a stream. So that's the schedule. So it's every alternate day at 9:30. That's the time. That's Indian time, Indian Standard Time, IST, 9:30 IST. Okay. So you have A, right? And you have an error, and the error is quite legit. It's saying you haven't specified an interest, but let's say you want to keep the interest optional. You don't want, every student doesn't have an interest. Like they might not want to tell it, right? How do you make it optional? So the way you make it optional is by specifying a question mark. So as soon as you give a question mark after any property name, that's basically an optional parameter. So now interest is optional. You can specify it, you cannot specify it. It's up to you. So you can say interest and you can specify, okay, so football is one of the interest. You can do it, you cannot do it, both is okay. So if you want to make any property optional using TypeScript, what you do is you specify a question mark. If that was clear, we'll move ahead. Okay, what do we have next? Okay, so and I would like you to like consider one more thing. Now as you specified interest as optional, this could be null. So while writing your code, do consider that a dot interest could be a null, right? So like for example, then you'll have to write a type check. So like a dot interest if exists, then you do something. So always remember this. Hey Karan Ransing, I think, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Hey everyone, hi. So you'll have to give a check, right? Like if, because this is optional, right? It could be specified, it couldn't be specified. So always give a check while you write a code for like all the optional parameters. That's kind of like very essential. Okay, now the next thing we have is union types. I think I already explained union types, but I will be explaining it again. You can specify multiple types for a single thing. For example, like uh, like for example, what could have a multiple types? I'm just thinking what could have a multiple types. I don't know. Let's say a, and a could have like a could be a string and a could be a number as well. I don't know, bro. The dogs are super excited today in my society. I don't know. They are also enjoying the tutorial, I guess. I don't know. So you can specify more than one type to a particular variable. So for example, A is having both string and number type as a type. So yeah, this is how you do a union type. So which is like multiple types at one. Okay, you can do it over here. You can do it in a function. It's kind of the same thing. So while like you write a function, you can do like string and number. Yeah, right, right, bro. Dogs, they are annoying, bro, sometimes. Okay. Uh, okay. Let's go ahead. What can we have? Okay. So for example, it's a very good example has been given in the TypeScript documentation, which is print ID, right? And your ID could be a number, your ID could be a string, right? And let's say you want to handle it quite carefully. So if the if the type of, so that's how you check type of something, right? You use type of this type of keyword. So if type of ID is equal to like number, let's say, right? You want to print simply the number. So if like that's how you check type. Okay, I don't know. Yeah. So you if the type of ID is number, what you do is you print I don't know, what should I do, console log whatever the ID is. But let's say if the type if the type is not number, then the type is string, right? So then if the type is string, what do you want to do is we want to print this in like id dot to uppercase. And I would like to show you the benefit of using TypeScript, right? You can see we are getting a full type completion. It knows that if it is the type is not number, it would be a string, right? So if I give dot, it gives me all the function which you could use within a string, which is quite cool. Please, you guys could please. The dogs are like shouting like anything. Okay. So we have two, like this is how you can use multiple types. So print ID, if the type ID is number, we directly print it. Otherwise it is a string, right? So it's string, we uppercase, like we print it uppercase. So for example, if I just use this function print ID, right, I can pass, like I can pass test, like I can pass test 1 2 3 4. That's also valid. Or I can pass or I can pass like some number that is also valid, right? So if I just run it, you can see test, it capitalized, and for number it is giving me numbers. That's how you use union types in TypeScript, right? Okay. One more thing, how do you check array? So for example, like let's say I also want to allow and like array of number, right? how do you how do you check the array, right? So now else is giving me an error. See the benefit of using TypeScript. It is telling me that id could be a number array as well, and array doesn't have two uppercase as a parameter, right? So you can do this now. So else if type of id is equal to a string, right? Type of id is a string, right? So you do this, or else the last option is what? The type of is an array, right? So if that is an array, what we can do is we can just say log uh, what id dot join by some space. That is okay. See, we have handled the type based on like different type based on their whatever the type is. So I think union type is pretty clear to all of you guys who are watching, and all of you guys will be rocking TypeScript from now onwards. Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, I just forget. How do you check arrays, right? So you do it using a thing called is array. So you say array dot is array, and then what you can do is you can just pass the id. Although this is not required in this case, I just wanted to show you how do you do this. So you just use is array to check something is array or not. Okay, great. Let's move ahead. Let's see what we can do next. uh okay, what is that? Nothing interesting. Next thing is we'll be using aliases. We have been using object type aliases. Okay, so the next thing is we'll be using aliases. What is aliases? Aliases is like you extract your type into like a different area. You don't keep types with like complex types especially. So you can say type, for example, and you can write a point, like let's say if I want to store like x and y axis, you can say type this, and you can store your type like this in a variable. I don't know you should call it variable or not, but whatever. You can specify something like type, and you can write the name of your type, and then whatever this is. So x is string, you can say that. If x is number, you can say that. And then for example, y is also a number, you can say that, right? There you go. You can do that, right? And then you can create an array of like that. So you can say points is basically a point like the array of points, right? You can do this. This is completely valid, right? Now this is angry at me because I'm not using it, so that's the reason. But you can specify it like this, and there you go. You will have to like specify an x and a y for all of these, right? uh, See, so you can use this something like this. So this is what you call alias. Alias means extracting the type into its own type, like as a variable, separate variable, and you can specify a name to this. So there's like you can say this is another type which you have created of your own, if that makes sense. There is other ways also. You can say like id could be a string and could be a number. That's also one way. So now id is basically a type now. So you can say let a is basically an id, which could be a string or a number. So this is also valid, and this is also valid, but you cannot tell it true or false, something like this. This is not valid. You can see we are getting an error. Okay, great. So I think alias types are pretty clear, right? All of you guys know what how alias types is. Interface or type. We'll be coming to that, Arnava. We'll be coming to that. Next is what we're going to cover this. User input sanitization. Let's see what's the next example they have given. So it's string, and then yeah, whatever this example. Okay, let's come to interfaces. Interfaces is another way to declare your type. So like how aliases, you declare types in aliases, interface are another way. So you can call it interface, and for example the same thing you can say point like this. Interfaces are used a lot, so all of you guys who have doubt in interface, just let me know. So point is there, right? And then you can say x, which is a number, and then y, which is also a number. Oh sorry, number. So this is how you define an interface. And then similarly you can create like the same types like points, and then like this would be a point uh, array, and then whatever. You can use it however you wish, right? It's up to you how do you use it. But this is now another type, which is like of an object which is having x and y as two different parameters. And you can definitely use all those things which we have learned. So you can make it optional. You can have like something like z, which could be a number or a string. All of these things which we have learned is there as a task, as a what do you say, as something which you can use for practicing is try to create very complex types, like what I used to do in my beginning. So I used to say like, for example, let's create a very complex interface, right? So interface student information. Okay, so take a very complex piece of data, for example, student information or COVID data or MacBook data or something like that. Very, very complex data, right? Try to pick that and try to create an interface for that. So let's do student data. Student could have a name, so student could have an age, which could be a number, and let's say it is an optional to give an age. So you can give, you can't give, that's totally up to you. Okay, and then what you can do is you can we can have subjects, right? So there could be various subjects. So subjects is basically an array of, it's an array of another interface. So it's an array of this. What is the subject will have a name, right? So it will be a string type, right? And the subject will have, if this is going like, if this is very confusing to you what I'm doing right now, just let me know. Okay, I'll simplify this. But if it is, you can explain this, you can like understand this, that means you are on like you are at the same pace as I am. Otherwise I'll slow down if you guys wish to me to do that. Okay, so we have number, and then we can have like subject could have other properties. It basically advanced JS, but type is needed everywhere we use a variable or something like that. It's not needed, bro. Yes, bro, it is not needed. It is not needed. So for example, like if we are doing this, right, we don't need a type over here. Type is automatically defined. Uh, we'll do a TypeScript. We'll make a small TypeScript project to basically understand how TypeScript is useful. And then uh, basically, yes, technically it is an advanced JavaScript with types. You are correct, basically. There couldn't be a better explanation than that. Yeah, but it is way more than that. I'll just show you some of the very advanced typing you can do. We'll be going to advanced TypeScript in a while, but you will see. Types help you debug easily. No, type doesn't help you debug easily. Type helps you to avoid bugs. Debugging is a different concept. Like debugging is when you write the code and then you find the bugs. It tells you the error while writing the code. Okay. Okay, so this is an advanced type. You can extract the subject into its own separate types and you can define it over here. That's also possible. So you can do like subject, and then subject will have a name, uh, and then it will have yeah, no, I mean, I get the error easily, right? Yeah. So name could be one thing. Then who, like a teacher who is teaching, whatever teacher who is teaching. Why have I specified it like this? I don't know. So, okay, so you could have a subject separately over there, and you can be a little bit more smart, and you can say subjects which the students has taken is basically an array of the subject which you have specified. So I would give you you guys as a task to construct some very complex data into by giving their types into an interface. That would help you a lot. Okay, let's go ahead, and you can do this. I think let's construct like let's and then when you do this test, right, and you give a type to this like as a student information, right, uh, uh, you can see I get a very advanced type completion, auto completion, by using TypeScript. So this is also one of the very useful feature of TypeScript is you get very good auto completion. So I can say name student, and then what I can specify an age. Let's say I'm 23. Subjects, I can say this is an array of what? I can say name, and then I have a name, right? Name, it could be like maths. So what does the teacher which teacher does it like teach me this? So let's say M. K. Sharma, something like that, right? So you can see this is extremely type safe code. You can't define anything else. I cannot go over here and say, okay, this is like this. This will give me an error because the type of this is student information, right? Also, while you access this test.c, what like amazing auto completion we get. Map t, and then you can see t dot name. You can do these amazing things using types. Okay, all of you guys, does this make sense, or is it going beyond, or I'm just covering it very fast? Just let me know, and then I'll be moving ahead. Yeah, yes, if you understood interfaces, yes, if you understood union types, yes, if you understood like how to give types to array, aliases, all of these, if you are clear with, we'll be moving ahead. Say a yes if that is clear. Say a yes if that is clear. I want a yes if that is clear. भाई थीम कौन सी यूज कर रहे हो आप? आई थिंक टोक्यो लाइट, आई एम यूजिंग टोक्यो लाइट, या इट्स टोक्यो नाइट डार्क. Just search for Tokyo Night and you'll get it. Tokyo Night maybe. Yeah, see, Noah guessed it. It's exactly Tokyo Night. Yes. Okay, let's move ahead. Nobody said anything, so I consider everyone is understanding everything. Please do ask questions, guys. If you don't ask questions, I feel like you guys are not like understanding everything. Like it is confusing, right? I don't want things to be confusing. Okay. First of all, avoid doing this, bro. Avoid doing this. Okay, so don't do this. This is bad code. Okay, like if you are already specifying directly the value, you don't need to specify a type. That's wrong, right? So you can delete this, and this is like directly like that. Okay. Okay. Anything else is there in the documentation? Okay. I don't see. Okay, so you can actually you can specify values as a type. This is very interesting. All of you guys listen to this very carefully. So let's say I have a function, and it basically it's test, and it takes a number a. Okay, and I want basically to switch a, and I want to say, like, if this is 1, return me Monday, 2 Tuesday, 3 Thursday, 4 Friday, and something like that. So how can you make this type safe? Like, how can you make sure that the outputs which you are getting is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, based on like whatever input you give? Let's construct. This is a real life use case. Let's try to use Typescript for this. So you can construct a type for this. What you can do is you can say type days. Okay, so like days. Okay, and you can specify value as a type. This is very interesting. Okay, so you can have Monday as as a a type, or it could be Tuesday, or it could be Wednesday, or it could be Thursday, or it could be Friday, or it could be Saturday. Uh, okay, Saturday, or it could be Sunday. Okay, you could have a value as a type. So this is days, a type which defines days. So for example, then what is the return type of this? The return type of this is basically a day, not day. This should be not days. This should be day, right? So okay, so what I have to return from this is this would only take these things as an output. See, when I return, this is the only thing which I can return. I can return Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, so I can write a simple code like days, for example. Uh, this is basically an array of day, and then I can say I have Monday, I have Tuesday, I have Wednesday, I have Thursday, and I have Friday, and I have Saturday, and I have Sunday. What am I doing on earth? Okay, so I have an array, and I just simply say I just write a small type check. So if a is less than 0, if a is less than 0, or a is more than days dot length, then throw an error, throw new error, invalid argument. If everything is fine, then return days at a day. A very simple program which shows type record is, can you explain this? Of course I can explain this. You are basically talking about generics, and we'll be going to generics, Arnaba, but let's not jump, right? Because jumping will make things very confusing for some other people who are learning. Let's go step by step. Okay, the whole thing, I mean, it's a simple thing. It's a generic which only accepts string, number, and symbol as a type, right? Also T, so it, okay, what, so the okay, and then you, and okay, that's a generic type, and then what the object type is, p and k, which is so the type of, I think the type of the elements of the array. I don't want to confuse everyone. We'll be going there. Hold on. As you asked for questions. No, we are going step by step. I want all of you guys to ask questions from what I'm actually doing right now. Okay. So whatever I have taught. So we'll be going to generics and then we'll be solving all of these. Okay, so let's go to invalid args. We have so this is sorry, this is a very simple function. So what have I written, bro? This should be get day. Okay, so if I run this program, let's see how type safe it is, right? So if I get to get day, right, and if I like I cannot specify a, like this is the error. I'll have to specify a day like 3, right? And I'll get an output as day, and you can see the day is basically, you know, day has the type, like day only could be like of the type day, which is day could be only these of the following, like these things, right? So you could have values as a type as well. So if I run this right now, right, this will have Thursday. So that's the Thursday which I've specified 3. So third is the Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because 0, you know that, right? Okay, so you have Thursday there. Does this program make sense for everyone? If yes, then we'll move ahead. If no, then I'll explain this more. So you could have values as a type. So not only this, you could have something like this. So you could have like a type something, and then you could have like a numbers as well. So you can have 1, -1, 2. These are also valid types. You can specify types like values as a types as well. Okay. If that was clear, we'll move ahead. If that was clear, we'll move ahead. No more doubts. Okay, so now you know how to use values as a types, right? So let's move ahead. Next thing is so for example, I'll tell you a use case of values as a types, right? For example, you could have like a you could have like a how can I say function, like you could have like x and y, and this is like number, and this is also number. Where have I? Okay, this is also number, and like let's say if I have calculate, right, and I want to pass a variable called operation, which will be like add, subtract, multiply, or divide. I could say this could be add, this could be either subtract, this could be multiply, and then you can do whatever you wish, right? So you're getting this, you're like everybody's understanding this, right? So you can specify a type like this. The operation could be like one of this, like add, subtract, and when I use this function, for example, so if I just pass like 1, 2, and then only these things could be passed: add, multiply, subtract. Only these things could be passed. You can't pass anything to this string other than those stuff, right? Okay, so it's like enum if you have used any other programming languages. Okay, great. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Okay, let's continue. Should we continue or should we? Is there any questions? If there's no questions, we'll continue. Okay. So next thing is we have undefined type. So so it is also primitive data type, which is undefined and null, these two data types. And basically undefined and null, as they sound, undefined is it is not defined, and null it is there's no value. So difference between undefined is basically what it says: it's not defined, or it does not exist, or it does not exist. I'll explain you the meaning, but for now just explain this. And null is it does not have a value. It does not have a value. Okay. Yeah, just one thing, what I most use in this industry, J or TS, I guess TS. Yes, Typescript. In the industry, almost all the very large projects are coded in Typescript, right? Okay, for example, VS Code was mostly coded in JavaScript, but now they have switched to TypeScript. So all the modern modules are coded in TypeScript. Any other model like Next.js, anything is basically TypeScript. Anything modern is basically TypeScript. Okay, let's go ahead and let's learn null and undefined. So for example, let's say if I have a variable a, which could be a number, but which could be like, which I'm saying this is null, right? So I don't want a number to be there. So this could be a number. but you're saying like the value, so and this could be a null, right? So what I want to say is, here what I'm saying to JavaScript is basically as a TypeScript is, a could not have a value, a could not have a value, or a could not have a value, or it would be a number. So either it should be empty or a number. That's what I'm saying with this variable. So I could like I could do this. This is very definitely valid, but this is, I've specified this as const, should be let, right? Okay, so this could be a, but this could not be a string now. Right? I can reassign this to be a null, like that's completely valid, but this couldn't be a string. So you can see this is invalid. It's giving me an error because we have specified the number could be number, or like the type could be number or null. Great. Okay. Let's go ahead. I think null is pretty clear. Let's see what is undefined. Okay. So for example, I have a variable a, right, and it is having a value called name, which is optional, and which is of type string, right? And then again I have I think this is wrong, right? uh, let's say I have a type, right? Type info, right? So I have a name which is optional, right? Okay, hold on, it should be interface. Okay, so I have an interface and I have a name which is optional. I have age which is quite compulsory, and let's say I have something called info, right? And I only specify so this would be of type info, and I only specify like age to be like 53. So for me, wait, what happened? Oh, I've written two, so this should be a number, right? So I have written this, so there is no name, right? So name is undefined. So if I just log what is the type of info dot name, I think it will be undefined. So you can see undefined, right? So the type is undefined because we haven't defined name yet. So that's the difference between null and undefined. Null is basically having no value, and undefined is not, it's not there, it doesn't exist. Okay. Okay, great. uh yes, let's move ahead. Let's move ahead. um I think we have some less common primitives. We'll not be thinking about that right now. Okay, let's go ahead. Next topic we have is narrowing. Uh, I'm just thinking, is it used, and is it as a, so narrowing, if like, what if I read the official documentation of TypeScript, what narrowing it is basically, uh, narrowing is basically you narrow the type of a variable. For example, let's say this is very simple stuff, bro. This is not very complex. Narrowing is very simple. So it's like function, and if I write like padding left, right, for example, right? So this is an example given by default in the TypeScript documentation. And like, let's say I want to specify padding in two different types, which is, it could be a string or it could be a number. So now what the narrowing is basically, when you say if type of, right, uh, padding is equal to a string, right? So what you're saying is, and if you go to the else part, right? So in this if part, the TypeScript very well knows that the if, like, as you have specified this, that the padding is string, so it knows the padding is string in this particular part, right? But here, right, if you go here else, it knows that if it is not a string, it would be a number. So that's narrowing, like narrowing the type. It was string and number both before, but we narrowed it to only being number, right? So padding is a string over here, but if like this is not string, what it will be? It will be a number, right? So it means we have narrowed the type from being both of them to one of them. This is basically narrowing. Very simple stuff. We have already covered this, I think. uh, and type of guard, we have already learned that that's the next topic. And type of could give you these results. So I will just copy this. TypeScript could give you these results. So these are the things which type of could return, which is string, number, bigint, boolean, symbol, undefined object and function. These things could be returned by type of. So type of could, like, result in these things. Okay, great. Okay, that is okay. That's great. So we have these things are covered. I don't think so we have anything very very amazing over here. Okay. One more thing I would like to tell all of you guys is basically uh, a very common mistake which people do uh, is basically, I'll just show you. Okay, so function, let's say I have some strings, right, which is a string, a normal string, or it could be a string array, or it could be a null, right? So I will have a question with you guys, like let's name it something. I'll just show you some malpractices, like some things which shouldn't be done in TypeScript while using TypeScript, and you guys will tell me what is the issue. Okay, so strs, right? There's a strings. What is it doing? Okay, yeah. So we are saying if str exists, right? If str exists, we say if type of strs is equal to an I guess is array an option now. So uh, if uh, array dot is array strs, if it is an array, then log whatever this is an array, whatever. So is this a good code? Like, I'm just asking, what is the problem with this code? Like, just tell me. Okay, what is the problem with this code? Like, this will check null, right? Like, for example, this will, like, if null is a falsy values, and then this will run. Trust me, this is not the case. Like, there is a very big flaw with this code. Always while checking any variable which results in a truth or a false value while using if condition, always remember that your this will also return in a false, right? Always remember your this will return in a false, your this will return in a false. And trust me, while in the production, right, while I'm in the production, a lot of time this has given me errors, and errors which you could not fix very easily. It's very complex errors, but this has given me errors. Like, I was considering it, like I was checking it like this, and it was false due to these reasons, like it was zero or empty string. So always, like, if you have to do something like this, always do not equal to null, right? Like, always do this. This is way better than like directly doing this. Okay? This is not good. This is not good. If you're writing into production, don't do this. It will give you errors which are insane. Okay, great. So we have done this. I think now we know this. Do we have anything very top case equality narrowing? There's something called equality narrowing. I can tell you, these are like these, you'll automatically learn this. I just, like, this is not so we'll go to more on functions. Let's go more on functions. Okay, string and null will both give false. Exactly, yes, because array of string is basically an object, right? So that's a truth. That's a, like, truthy values. That's how you say it, I guess. Yes. So now let's go a little bit more advanced on functions. We'll be learning about generics. We'll be learning a lot more things in functions. So let's get ready. Okay. So we already know this. We already know this. We already know this. Okay. So first of all, let's define a function. Let's call it like function do something, right? And arg, right? So I have already explained this. I'll be explaining this again. So you can define an interface. So you can say like some type, right? Which, let's say, name, string, email is also a string, like that. And you can define the type over here. I think I have already explained this. We'll be going a little bit advanced in this. Bro, can you please just once again do the setup for TypeScript with a new project like we do to run JS using Node, please? Yeah, it's generic time. Bro, can you please just once again do the setup for TypeScript? Bro, you can just go back in the stream and watch the beginning, like 15 minutes of the stream. There I have actually set up the TypeScript, and you'll know. Come back to the live again. You'll know how I've done it. Okay, so we are coming to the generics part. So we'll be learning that. That's kind of very interesting part. But whatever I have taught so far, first of all, I want to say this. Whoever is watching, whatever I have taught so far is enough to get started with TypeScript. You can start creating projects with TypeScript. Whatever we are learning after this will make you a advanced user. So we are learning generics, we are learning call signatures, we'll be learning few complex stuff after this. So kind of like a normal JavaScript use, we have done. So congratulations, now you are not a noob in TypeScript. You're like at a okay stage. Okay? So you love generics, amazing. We'll be learning generics next. So I also love generics, but the thing is, you don't get a lot of actual places where you would use generics in actual coding environment. Like you do get, and you love to use generics, but like getting actual use cases is rare. It's like you might be using very rarely as compared to other things which we have learned so far. So you should definitely be excited. And let's start the level 2. Yes, Arnava is very, very correct. Let's start level 2 of TypeScript now. So by the way, if you're guessing, we have reached here of this entire thing. So we have covered narrowing, we have covered everyday type, we have covered basics. We are more on functions right now, so we'll be going with functions. That's the flow I'm using. Okay. uh, let's start. So you can define an argument like this, and you can define the type of this. Let's understand how can you accept a function as a type. So you can say type, and like let's say like something like function type, and then you can say the argument would be a string, and the return type is basically what return type is string, something like that. You can do this, and you can say you can specify like function. Yeah, I have the doc open too. That's great. So you can have a function, and you can have like func type, and then there you go. So this is basically telling that this do something function. I'll just say throw unimplemented. Okay. So I don't want to implement the function, but what I want to say is this do something is basically telling two things. It will extract two things. First is an argument, which is of type this, which will have a name and an email ID. And second is a function, which is of type this. So that functions argument is a, which is of type string, and that returns a string, whatever you can say. That's kind of cool. My Mac is discharged. I have to put this in charge, otherwise this will turn off. Hold on, all of you guys watching. Okay, so now if I just use this, do something, right? Not like this, bro. Don't do that. Do something. That's how you do it, right? Okay, so if I go over here, the first argument is I can pass the name, because that's the first argument, right? I can pass the email ID, something like that. Whatever, like this. This one, and it is still throwing me error because the second argument is not optional. You can also specify an argument as optional like this. There's one rule to it. We will be discussing it, but we'll be discussing that after this. Okay. So there's a typo. I don't look at the spelling, bro. Spelling, don't look at, like, that's my weak point. I am very bad with spelling. Okay. So we want to specify, we want to pass a function like this, and then the function will have a parameter which is string. So we can pass a string to this. We can say like we can define a function over here. So which will have some string, and then you can return string plus hello, something like this, right? There's a typo, I guess. Yes, there is. Oh, there's name. Okay, sorry. So it should be email. There you go. So you can see, right? So we have very explicitly we have said do something function. What does it take? This takes, one is an object, second is a function. You can define this function outside as well. That's completely up to you, but you can do something like this, right? I hope this makes sense. Okay. So we have call signatures. That's kind of okay. We have already discussed it. Construct signatures. Okay. Great. So if you guys know, right, this is a little bit advanced. Again, level 2, all of you guys who are okay with level 1, you can stop watching. You can go and start creating something. But if you have understood fully well level 1 and you think you're ready for level 2, this is level 2. Okay. So there's two ways you can define function. For example, I can create a function and I can call it like test, right? If you guys have like a little bit of JavaScript experience, I can do this. This dot a is equal to something like this, and then this dot b is equal to something like this. I can do this. This is one way to do it, right? This is having some issue. What is this? Implicitly had any type. You can define a type. That's a different thing. But you can do this, right? So this is what you're doing right now. This dot and then all those things. This is called a constructor signature, right? And there's like two types of signatures, you can say. One is called call signature, and another is called constructor signature. We'll be learning how you can define a function with call signature. We'll be learning how you can define a function with constructor signature with proper typing, with giving the proper types. Okay, so let's get started. Call signature, very simple. So call signature, very simple. I can have like an add function, right? For example, which could so I can define a type called add, and then like add function, which could take a number, which could be a number, and which could take another number, which could be again number, and we can return like a number. This is a very simple call signature type function, right? uh, right? So call signature is very simple. Call signature is there's no, like the function is not used as a class, right? You can use a function that could represent an object in Typescript. I don't know, I'm confusing things very much right now. I just want to explain this in simple terms. Like if you want to use this, or like you want to use like you don't want to use your function as a constructor, then that is a call signature. And if you want to use your function as a constructor, you can do this. If you want, like I'll just give you a very simple example, right? If you want, you could do like use a new keyword with your function. For example, if I just like test and like I do something like this and whatever, so I do something like this, and you would want like to do this, like a test is equal to create a new instance of test, right? So now if you want to, like, of course this is giving an error because we don't have a type of this, but if you want to do something like this, then this is what you call construct signature, right? So that's what we'll be learning next. Functions are not being able to used in class. Didn't get it. Function not being used as a class. I'll explain. Okay. uh, I'll explain in a very simple term. Listen to me. I want all of you guys to focus here, okay? uh, so in JavaScript, in simple JavaScript, you could have functions, and you could allot properties to that function, right? You could allot properties to that function, and you can define another function as a property of that function. I'll explain. Hold on. I know this is confusing. I know this is confusing. Let's do it in JavaScript first. Then you guys will understand, right? For example, I have a function called rectangle, right? And then I would explain, like, for example, I would have like for rectangle, I take a length and a breadth, right? And then I create properties inside this function. So if I say this dot get area, right? And there's another function, and then what I say is return this dot L. This wouldn't work like this. So you'll have to do like this dot L is equal to L. All of you guys who are using JavaScript, have you created anything like this before? Like this, and then you do this dot L times this dot B, right? We are specifying the properties of this function itself, right? Then in this case, this is a callable function. Now I can do this. This is valid for me. So I can do like rect, and then I can do rectangle, and then I can specify like 12, something like that. And I can do rect dot get area. That's a valid code, right? That's a valid code there. I can do this right now. Like this is a callable function. I think this makes sense, right? And another very simple function, like the way you create for adding, like where you don't have this dot or anything like that. This is the difference between a callable function and a normal, what do you say, construct signature. Like a construct signature and a call signature. This is the construct signature. The normal function is a call signature. I just showed you an example. I would like you to like, I want you to create stuff, not learn the definitions. I cannot tell you the exact definition, but this is how I've understood it. Okay. Great. What are the methods then? What do you mean? I told you methods are like, methods could have two different kinds of signatures. First is called construct signature. Another one is called the call signature. So it could have two different signatures. Both are functions, bro. Both are functions. They're not different. I'm not saying this is class. Again, I'm not saying this is class, but if you're using this as a construct signature, this is what I mean. And if you're using as a call signature, that like a simple function, that is what I mean. I hope so this makes sense. Okay, let's move. Let's delete this stuff and let's move ahead. So call signatures, I think everybody is clear, right? So simple functions, add, subtract, we have already learned this. Now let's go to construct signatures, right? How do you construct it? So you could have like a type, right? You could have like type, and uh, you could have a function, for example, like some constructor, like let's say there's a some constructor, right? You could have a call signature as a type of some function. So like there's a function called new, right? And you can say this takes a string. I'm just showing you one of the examples given, and I can say this returns a string as well. What happened? This shouldn't be a types then. So if this is a type, this should be equal to over here. Okay, great. So this what I'm telling you is whatever function will be passed over here could not have a call signature. It should have a construct signature. Like whatever function you're passing over here should be of something like what I've shown you in the JavaScript right now. Right. So does that make sense? If yes, say yes. If no, then say I do not understood it. Explain it again. And then after this, we'll be moving to generic functions. But was it clear? Call signature and construct signature. Was it clear? I hope so. Should we move to generics? Okay, I'm moving to generics. I don't see all of you guys who are watching, come on, just give some answers, bro. All of you guys who are watching. Okay, so let's move to generics now. What is generics? Generics is basically when you don't know what is the type to pass in basically a function. For example, the use state function. If you have used React, you know there's a use state function that could have any number of types of inputs, right? For example, let's start with a very simple function. For example, I have I think I confused call signature and construct signature. Oh, you like, yeah, you mixed it, like you interchangeably you mixed it. Yeah, I think I also called call signature construct signature and construct signature call signature few times, so I fumbled there. So yeah, okay, so we have a function, and let's say you don't know the type which should be there. So for example, like you have get array item at 1, right? So whatever, like at 0, right? So what I want is basically I want any array which is being passed. I want the zeroth item of that array, right? So it could be any array. It could be any array with any type, right? So in normal case, right, if you don't know generics, how would you solve this? You will say any, and this could be any type, and then you would say return array of at 0, right? This is how you would do it normally, right? Get array at 0. Normally you would do it like this, but this is very unsafe code. Why it is unsafe code? Because let's, for example, I'll call this, right? So I'll just say test is equal to get array at whatever, like I pass this. So I'll say test 34 and then whatever, like this. And then I might do like if you check the type of this test, right? It is any. So I can do this. So test is equal to test plus 32. I can do this because even though the first item is 343, that will throw an error because I cannot add a number to an integer like the way I want. I cannot add it, right? It will simply add it at the last, but it will not add it or something like that. And this is very unsafe because test is any type. I want whatever the type which I like, whatever the type of array which I passed, it should be the type of that, like the item, whatever the item of that particular array is. I want the type of that. How can you do this? So it's very easy. See, uh, what you can do is you can say, okay, I don't know the type, so I want a generic type. So just give me a type. Give me a type of whatever that thing is. So whatever type you will give me, the array should be of that type. So like whatever type you specify, I'll explain you how do you specify it. But whatever type you specify, the array should be that, and the output should be of that particular type only, right? So, or it could be undefined. Like it could be undefined. Like the array couldn't have like it would be an empty array. That could also be in one of the cases, right? So now this is throwing an error at me because I'm not returning the correct thing. So I'll return array at 0. Now whatever we have done, what this has done, I'll just show you, right? Because this is an array of string, right? This test is now string or undefined. See, now we'll have all the string type completion. So we'll have all the string functions over here. That's great, right? Because now this function knows what it will be returned, and that's great. But you can specify like I'll just show you. Hold on. Okay. So this automatically adapts to whatever type it is being passed. So generic is like okay, so it is inferring all the types. Exactly, this is inferring all the types. This is getting all the types from that. So it's like this is the type over here, and this is an array. So we say whatever the type of that array is basically our type. Hey bro, I was so late. Hey, I've been yeah, you are a little bit late, but if you know basic TypeScript, you are at good time because we have started with advanced TypeScript. We are just discussing generics right now. So generics is very simple. You when you when you want to inherit a type of the value which is being passed, you use generics. So there's an array of string. We have extracted a type into array, and what we are like into our own type, which is type, and then we can use it like this. Let's see a few more examples to understand this like in a good way. So we have map, input, output. Okay. Okay. So right. So let's say we have a function called map. Let's reconstruct the function map, right? So we have some array and we have a function, right? So for with each of the element of function array, it will call the that function. That function will have that element, right? The function could have an element. So this will be a type of that function which is having some type. Will be I'll be explaining this example. Hold on, all of you guys there. Watch this very carefully. What do I want to do? I want to basically I want to say array.map. For every element I want to call this function fun, right? Okay, good. But how to make this type safe? That's the example. That's the problem. We can use generics in this case. Hello Vandit Dubey. Hello, hi, what's up Vandit? A lot of I think a lot of you people are a little late, but that's kind of fine. We are starting with advanced TypeScript, so hello, and let's focus. Okay, so we have this function and we have an array. We want to map to that array, and we take in function. This is kind of like this gives an output. The output is also something like it gives an output like whatever it could give, like any type example, right? This is a very unsafe code. Like how do you define the type for this particular function? Again, I'll explain you the problem. The problem is we want to map through an array and call a function with the parameter of, like, for example, if I have this as an array, so if I have 1 2 3 4 as an array, and I have a function, right? I want to pass like second parameter as a function. I want to pass function for 1, then I want to pass function for 2, and I want to pass function for 3, and I want to pass function for 4. Like that's what I basically I want to do, like, right? So how do you get the type? So let's define a type. So we could have like a type called input. We could have type an output. So this is an input and this is an output. So array is basically an input, right? So it will be an input. Sorry. Hey bro, where the element coming from? Okay, where is the element coming from? Okay, I think to explain this in a better way, I should do this first of all without using generics. Like let's do the bad way first to understand the good way, right? So if I just say this is of type any array, and then this will be of type any, and then this will return any. Okay, so this is the bad way, absolute bad way. You should not do it like this way. So for example, let's say we have an element like these elements, right? Okay, we have these elements, and we want to call this function map, right? I want to call this function map, and I want to get this some way parsed, right? So for example, let res will be the result, and then I can say map, and then I can give a as first element, and then I can pass a function where I get a, and I return, I could return anything, like I could return literally a plus hey, like uh, this is something I can, I don't know, something like this, or I could return like this element is something like a, right? So I can return this, right? So yeah, this is the use case. I'll run this. This will, I guess this will run pretty successfully. So you can see the first element is, this is element 1, this is element 2, this is element 3, this is element 4. Great. But the problem is the result which we are getting is an array of any. We don't have any type information for this result, right? What we are getting out as an output. So how could we maintain, how could we know what is the type of this array which is being passed? So for that, we'll be using generics. So let's define two generics. First is the input. What is the input type which we want? And second is an output, which is what is the output we want, right? So output, for example, right now the output is string in this case. The input is array of and what is like number. So we can do like an input. So it will be an array of the input, and our function will be an array of the input, like single element input, and the output. Now this is very interesting. This would be the output type. Great. So now doing this, you will see now what is the type of res. Res has type array of string. It has automatically like taken the property of this, right? Which is great, right? So it has automatically taken the property of whatever the return type of this function is, right? If that makes sense. Does this make sense, by the way? How we have managed to get res as a string. So if I map to this, you'll see this all of the elements of res will have this property, this like string property. So if I say res at whatever, like res at 0 dot, it will have all the string properties, caret, index of, last. You can see this is having index property, right? Hold on. Okay, great. Okay, any question in this? How is this working? Is this confusing, or is this this makes sense? We have an input type. Or I'll be explaining in very simple way if this is not clear. But I just want to reply like, is it clear or it is not clear? So all 9 of you watching, I can see 9 people are watching right now. Is it clear or is it not clear? Should we make this more simpler, or you are okay with what I've explained right now? Just tell me right now, fast. Bro, tell me. If there will be no reply, I'll be moving ahead. I want all of you guys to understand what I'm like explaining you over here. I'll be explaining again if you, oh, you were, Raj is clear. Awesome. We can move ahead. Uh, Makes sense. Okay, everything is making sense. Generic isn't that hard. We can define the type. Yes, exactly. This is not like not at all hard. This is very simple stuff. Okay. So I think generics uh, is done. By the way, we can do a lot of very complex stuff with generics. Uh, okay, but let's say I'll give you an example. Okay, I'll give you an example. Let's say you want to limit that you would only accept an array of numbers and strings. Right? How would you do it? And a challenge for all of you guys. How would you make sure that the input array is only of type number and string? How would you make sure that happens? Right? So there's a keyword in TypeScript. It's called extends. Okay. Yeah, but ये कितना awesome है. Feels like we are in paid live session. Thanks, Mandir. Yeah, actually, this is great. All of you guys like ask questions and you guys are learning. That's great. I feel great to like, yeah, to teach basically. Okay. Continue. Like focus. We are losing our focus, guys. We have to be focused. Okay. So we have input, right? So you can say something called extends, and this could be a string or a number. Interesting, right? Focus. All of you guys, focus. What I'm doing. What I said is string. The input could only be an array of string or a number. So if I have an array of true false, right? Yeah, bro, this is a pet stream. Where is this pet stream, bro? Yeah, bro, this is a pet stream. Who took money? I did not took any money from you guys, as far as I know. It's free. This will be free. Don't worry. I guess entire hiring stream will be free. Yeah. If you guys like to show some support, what you guys would do is like just watch the video and get some jobs, like some really good jobs, and message me on my Instagram. I got the job. That will be like, that will be the payment for me. That would be amazing. Like, I got a job. I cracked 10 LPA. I cracked 15 LPA. I cracked 20 LPA. I want those kind of messages. Okay. So yeah, I think he's doing it for fun. I enjoy my time here. Also learn stuff. Okay, great. So we have false, true, and you can see this is giving an error to us. Why it is giving an error to us? Right now, using this extends keyword, what we said to this is it could only accept an array of string and numbers, and we have an array of true and false. So this is saying, hey, you could like this Boolean array is not allowed. Only thing which is allowed is string and numbers, which is great, right? एक backend stream इसके बाद का stream, yeah, all of you guys could suggest what would you like, what should be the next stream all about. Okay, that would be amazing. So yeah, so this is how generic work, this is how extend work. I'll give you a simpler example of extends. Let's do a simpler example of extend, right? So if I have a function called let's say I want to accept a array of something, and then like for example test, I want to accept an t, so which is like any generic type, and which should only be a string or a number, right? And then I could say, yeah, so I can take a value, and that should be of type t. So that defines the type t, and yeah, and then the output should be a boolean. How would I? This doesn't make here. The boolean is not required, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so you can see no bro, first TypeScript, after TypeScript then move to backend. Yes bro, without TypeScript backend is might be the next stream on Zord, like binary libraries we just did. I just know basic JS. Can I still watch this? uh your name is very interesting, I wouldn't say that, but yes, you can definitely watch the stream, but go back to where I was covering the part one, which is the basics of TypeScript, and then you can come here and then you can watch the type part two, which is a little bit complex. Yes bro, you can still watch. Yes, see, Arbind knows that he can still watch. That's awesome. Okay. So again, generics, again, for all of you guys, I'm explaining generics again. Look at this very carefully. Okay, if it is still not clear, it will be clear now. Okay, so for example, I'll just tell you the reason when we use generics. When you don't know from beforehand, you don't know the type of your input. For example, I don't know what is the type of the value. Okay, so what I can tell you, okay, whatever the type of that value is, I'll consider that to be like something like t, right? T, right? Or like you can say array of t. Like I consider that to be an array, or like an array of t, right? Okay, I'll explain you something very advanced after this. Just watch this very carefully. I consider that to be an array of k. Now then this returns this t, right? So I can say, okay, uh, uh, return val at 0. So here what I'm saying is I don't know the value. So I'll call this function, then this will make more sense. I'm explaining generics for like one more time, because I think this is a little bit complex for few people. Okay, so the value, I don't know the type of value. So okay, now what TypeScript will do? Okay, what is the value of this array? So it's like array of numbers. Okay, so the what will be the t? Now t will be number. T will be number. So now this entire type, what does it become? It becomes value, where it is array of numbers and it returns a number, right? So the result what we'll be getting, so it's called res, right? It should be a number, right? See, the number is type number. So but if we have an array of string, right, what does it become? The t becomes a string, because it is the array of, like you can see, right? That's what you have specified over here, right? So Yeah, it's like whatever the type, you can dynamically infer that. That's a good word, infer that. Okay. Okay, let's move ahead. Let's move a little bit more advanced. Okay. I have lost track of where we were from this. Okay, this is good. And the next thing which we learned was extend. Extend is, you can say, you can restrict this. So you can see this could be only strings array, or this could be only numbers array, or like whatever. This could be a numbers array, something like that. You can see, you can extend keyword limits the, like, put some condition on the dynamic type which you are receiving. So that's generics. Generics is damn easy, bro. Damn easy. Nothing complex in generics. Okay, great. Constraint types we've already covered. Okay, let's talk about arrays. Let's talk about arrays. Okay, so let's talk about arrays. Should we talk about arrays right now? I don't know. Um, Specifying type argument, we have already done it. Guidelines for writing good generic code, we have already done it. Um, Already done this. We are quite good at this. Uh, You can also define generics for functions, guys. You can define generics for functions. I'll be explaining this, right? So for example, a very good example has been given over here in the docs, I can see. So I'll just copy this example right now. So look at this example. This is a very good example. Let's say you have to write a function where you pass an array and then you pass a function which filters, like for example, array filter, right? You have to create your own filter function. How do you do that? It's pretty simple. See, so you don't know what is the type of that array which is going to pass. So you consider that to be a type. Like, you just name this type. You can name this whatever you want. So your array is an array of that whatever type is going to come, whatever type the user is going to call this function with, right? And then when you loop, every single item will be of that type. Simple, what, right? And then you return either true or false. That's boolean, like either you return a true or a false. So this entire filter function makes up for a very good generics example, right? For example, let's say I want to have like 1 2 3 4, like, and if I call like filter, I'll be like, oh, I just specify, forget to say a, right? So for example, I can pass a over here, and then as a result I'll be getting a value. And very interestingly, you'll see the type of this value is number, because we have passed a number over here, and because we have written this over here, that whatever type which you are getting, the argument will also be of that type, right? I don't know, this sounds very confusing even to me. Like, I understand this, but I sound very confusing, I guess, while explaining generics for some reason. So now this is yelling at me because I have to return a boolean. That's what you have said over here, right? So I can return true or false or whatever you want. Val is modulus 2 is equal to 0. So all only the even numbers will be there. And we have created a custom filter functions. So yeah, generics is done, I think. Let's move ahead. Generics is done. Generics is done. We'll be going for some complex types, don't worry. We'll be going for type manipulation and all. Then we'll be doing more fun stuff with generics. But right now it's kind of like, I think, okay, optional parameters and callback, you could have that, I think. Regarding the optional parameter, one thing, remember, if you have a function, right? So let's say test as a function, right? All the optional parameters should be at the end. So you could not have an optional parameter in the beginning. So you cannot say like a test, which is a number, and then this is not valid. So you can't say like t, which is a string. This is not a valid 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 function. This is invalid function, right? Yes, bro, I understand well. Just go ahead. Great. So this is an invalid function because all the required types should come before the optional type. Always remember this. So always you have to place this t before this test. Okay. Okay. So I can whatever like a dot number, and there you go. I think Arnava Ghosh is just after this very interesting thing which you have with an example maybe. Can we do this now with an example maybe? Okay, let's try to do this. So he has given us a type which is a record, and we'll be learning this. Okay. This is a very advanced level TypeScript. I'll be explaining. All of you guys who don't, bro, is your channel monetized? Cause you're gonna gain what? Gain what? gain a lot if you continue to do this, believe me. Thank you. Yes, my channel is monetized, Yash. So it is monetized. Thank you for thinking about me. Okay, let's discuss what's going on in this. Let's little bit unpack this. What it is this? What is this? And let's try to understand this, right? So what it says is it is like, consider a program. It is like some type which could only be string or a number, right? Great. Or a symbol, right? I haven't used symbol as a type ever in TypeScript, bro. I just have to see what is symbol in TypeScript. These are very rarely used type. I haven't used ever. What are symbols, bro? Uh, Bro, it is a primitive data type. See, symbols are like, so it is a primitive data type like number and string. Symbols values are created by calling symbol like this. It's kind of the same thing, bro. You can directly create this. Nobody requires a symbol, but still, let's see. Okay, so it could be a symbol, it could be a string, or it could be a number. That's okay. Or it could be some other any other type. Okay, and then okay, sorry. So k is this, and the t is this. So what we are saying over here is it is basically an object. So obj, let's say record. So I want you guys to tell me what this. Okay, first let me explain this for all of you guys who are new. I haven't explained this. So you can get an, you can, let's say you have object, right? So let's say you have an object. I'll be explaining this right now, then it will make sense for all of you guys. Okay. So let's say if I have an, what am I typing, bro? Obj, right? And I want like, for example, I want this object to only have number as a keys. So I want like the key should be number. So one string, and then like something else. What am I doing, man? What am I doing? What? Okay. So two, I want. So what I want is all the keys to be only of type. Bro, have any idea on semester? Tomorrow, Jane, on SEM PPR tomorrow. My DA data structure in semester. Bro, have any DAA in semester tomorrow? Good night. Okay, sure, Abdul. Watch my stream after your exam. Be free. Be like, okay, bye bye, and all the best for your exam, bro. Just like kill it. Like just give the most amazing exam ever. Okay, so let's talk about this object. Okay, let's say you want to create a type which only allows a number to be the key of that particular type, and it could be like string or a number. So what you can do is you can define a type. So you can say type test whatever, right? This is right, and you can say this is an object which has which has like whatever k or t, whatever you can say, of type like it could be like number. So it is the only numbers are allowed, and the value could be a number or a string. So now what you have done is you have said basically that the key, okay, the key will be only of type number. So again, this is a very dynamic type, and you can specify this over here. You can say test, and then this is valid, because, and then if I just try to get like this should throw an error at me. Why it is throwing an error at me? Because I have specified over here the key should be a type. So you can define a type for the key as well. This is how you do it. So now let's understand. So now once you understand this will make more sense. Okay. So Arnova, you're there, right? Yeah. Now this will make sense, right? So now what you're saying is the key should be of type P in K. So like that K, what you're getting, which is string number symbol. What do you mean by in? And this is the output type. Output type is very simple, right? So what do you mean by in? In is K. So okay, so this is what you're defining the type of key. So record is basically the key could be string, number, or symbol, and the value could be any generic type. So whatever key, so basically what you're saying is, I'll just explain you, right? So if I just have rec, yeah, I'm here. I guess you're understanding what I'm trying to explain. The rec, let's try to create a record, and let's give it a type record, and let's specify, right? So if I have like test, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? Type requires two arguments. Okay. Generics. Okay, this requires two arguments. Let's give like this should be a string, and the type should be also a string. So this is what this means. So you can directly pass a generic like this. So what I'm saying over here is the key could be a string, the value could be a string. So you can just say it could be a number. So this is like basically a record, like kind of like hash map, where the key will be always a string and the value will always be a number. So you can define whatever type you need, and that is what this record is. Also, this makes sense, right? And if anybody is confused about this, in is used for a record. So like, for example, a is 1 2 1 2 3, right? So if I just do like let s let's k uh, type k is equal to a, like uh, oh, this is generics, like, so t is basically then in k. Why would you need this? Why would you do this, bro? You can directly write k over here, that's valid. So like, instead of, I think this would work. So like, instead of doing this k, you can do this. Oh, you can't do this. Oh, so I think that is for what this is used for. So in is like getting a type from an array. So in is like getting a type from an array. But hold on. In is used directly like how I was using it. If I have to make this generic, this is how I'll make it. Okay. So type record. I would get some key. Right? So I'll just have adds of key, and the key extends. Key could be a string. Key could be a number. Key could be I don't care the symbol, that's not required. Okay, and then this is the value. Okay, and this is the value, and then and this will be a record. Okay, and wait, this is the same type. Let me call it record one. I think it's like having two. Okay, so and then the value will be t, which will be of type the I think key, and this could be of type value, so which is t. But this is not happy with me. I can't do this because the industry cannot be literal type, generic type. Okay, this should not be literal type, this should be a generic type. So I think we can do L, or like how can we do this? L in keys, and what is L? Oh, so it should be in. Okay, so the thing which I did over here, right? I guess so. I specified an array, right? Like I key, like, so like I did this, if you remember. So I generated a type test, and then I did this like um uh, like an L for number. We are getting distracted. I know we should move ahead, but still, I did this, right? So if you have a generic, then you can't do this because L is not defined, right? Because L is not defined. So then you'll have to use in. I guess that's how it works. So this is how this works. Are you satisfied, Arnava? Does this make sense now? This a little bit complex thing which you gave, right? Uh, okay, let's forget about symbols right now. What's next? So so if you guys have used like so in normal JavaScript, you can call a function with like multiple arguments, multiple different types of argument, right? So you could like I'll show you a very interesting example which they have given. So just look at this example, right? So you could create the same function like make date, make date, make date. You can like, for example, this is the call signature. Hold on, let me separate this. So you can create the same thing. This is error because there's no nothing, like there's no like make date is not created with anything which has two numbers in it. There's three numbers, there's no two numbers. But you can create like the same function name with different types of parameters as a type. So you can do that like this over here. It is completely possible. If you used any language like Java and all, they allow you to create constructors with something like this kind of feature. But you can do this. So this creates make date as one, like there is one type which expects a timestamp, which is number, and returns a date. If you give three numbers, it should be also a date. So like both of these different types are possible. So this is how you do it, if that makes sense. Great. This is a simple thing. I think this wasn't very complex. What should we go to next? Uh, Enough. Object. I think we should go to object type. We have already covered, so we are already good at object type. Should we go to type manipulation? Let's cover type manipulation, and then we'll be wrapping up this particular session after type manipulation. So let's go ahead. So I think a lot of things we have already covered. Generics is a part of type manipulation, which we already know. Let's see. Creating types and types. We have key off. We have already done this. Okay, let's learn this. So a little bit advanced. Okay. So let's say you have this array, right? So you have some type, right? Let's say type like test, and what you're saying is the key is basically a number, which is number, and the value is string, right? And let's say you have to infer, or you want to extract out the type of this. You want to extract out the type of this particular object. How do you do that? You can say key type, which is like whatever the name of the, like I have named this type key type, right? So and then what you can say is you can say key of, right? And then you can say type. It's already a type, so let's test. This one type. This is one way to do it. So if you already have a type, you can say key of type, and then this will be number. This will be number because the key of this is number, right? Cool. Second is you can do directly to an object. So let's say you have an obj object, and then you have an a, which is test, and then whatever you could have anything, right? So you want the value of this key, right? So this key of this particular object. How will you do it? So you can say value of obj. So the key of obj, not value of obj. Key of obj, and then what you can do is you can do key of type of obj, because you don't want object, you want type of object, right? Whatever the type of object is, you want that, right? So always remember that you can call key of only on types, not values. This is a mistake which is done quite often. So now this will be of type, I guess, a, because there's a only, like you can like this could be only a, right? Because that's what is there. So you can extract out the type from the keys of an object, whatever you've constructed. I guess this, is that very confusing, or was that okay? Like you could handle that. I guess you guys could. That's how you use key off, right? So that's to basically extract out the key from a object, or from, like, yeah, basically an object or object type. Let's move ahead. What's next? We know this one. We know key off. We know now type of. We have already studied type of, and then indexed access type. Okay. Now let's say we already have an object, right? Look at this very carefully. Okay, so we already have an object, and the object, we have a name, which is advanced types of tutorial. What's going on? Yes, Dipanshu, we are doing some advanced TypeScript. So Jay Prakash, whatever, like this is my name, right? So let's say if I want to extract out the type of this particular name from this object, how do you do this? And I am pretty sure you guys will have, like, where do you even use this? There's like insane many times you can avoid writing a lot of code, a lot of making a lot of types using, if you know all these things. And I'll just show you a lot of different places where these are used. We'll be going to some repositories, some advanced TypeScript repositories right now, and I'll show you some of the things which we have learned. Okay, so let's say, what is the type? So type of, like, let's say type of name. What is the type of name? So like object at name. I think what. So this is a value. This is a value. So we can say type of right now over here. So type of this. So this extracts the name type of whatever the name property of this particular object is, right? So this is how you do it. Let's say this is not a type. This is this is not an actual object. This is a type, right? So let's say obj type, like this is some type. What am I typing? Obj type, and this I having some name and string, and I want to extract out the type of this. What you will say? Just don't use this type of, and just directly use this. And I think this will be, wait, this will be not obj. This will be obj type. Right, there you go. So this is now of type string, right? Great. So that's how you extract types from an object, right? Object or type of the object, right? Both is valid. So yeah, kind of great. We already did it. Conditional type. Let's learn about conditional types. Okay, so how do you create conditional types, right? For example, there's a very interesting example given over here. Let's say if we have an animal, right? Or like like let's say let like type a is equal to a number, right? Type a is equal to a number, right? So this is our type number a is number, right? And let's say type b should be a string if a is number or otherwise boolean, right? So how do you do that? You can do it very simply. So if a equal to a number, like a, the type of a is number, right? So if a is number, then uh, then it should be a string. I think this is how it's done, string or a boolean. Otherwise it should be a boolean. Is this how you do it? No, this is not how you do it. Hold on. Let's take another example to explain this basically. So for example, let's say like, okay, this is not how you do it. Actually, this extends. Okay. So if a is a number, right? That's how you say it. Okay. So if a is a number, it will be like the b will be string. Otherwise, it will be a boolean. So that's how you do like that's how you do conditional typing. You use question mark to basically say, and there's no equal to, there's extends. Always remember, there's no question, there's no equal to, there's always extends, and that's how you do it. It's like first is you specify the, before question mark you specify a condition, and then if that's true you specify the true condition, otherwise the false, sorry, the true type or the false type, and then there you got the final type there. Okay, I guess this is pretty much it. And let's go for some advanced generics now using this conditional type which we know. Okay, so let's say if you have you if you want to construct the a function which is okay, let's write construct a function. I have a question for all of you guys who are watching. I'll be giving you a question, and you will be defining a type for that, and you will give me, right? I'll let's see who will do it the fastest. All of you guys are ready, so I have a quiz for all of you guys based on whatever we have learned. I guess all of you guys are ready. Okay, here's the question. Hey bro, how many days you took to learn this type and TypeScript things, means how many projects you have made with TS? Hey bro, I have been coding in TypeScript since what, 2 years, 2.5 years approximately, Arvind. So I haven't learned this in my, I have coded what, like more than hundreds of projects, bro. Hundreds of like small experimental projects, few like I think two, three or four production grade projects, like bigger, like company based, like whatever, like in my job I use TypeScript. So there are like 3 4 projects like that, a lot of smaller projects. Been doing TypeScript a lot in short. So yeah, okay, let's now I have a question for all of you guys. Construct a type construct a, a type of function um, whose input could be could be array of whatever, and and if the array or like, okay, so it like it's a function which accepts an array of anything like string, integer, number, whatever, right? And what you have to do is the function should return a string if it's an array uh, of string of string. Otherwise it should return null. Bro, at the ending, give us a project to make with TS with some problem and assignment to later review it. Sure, bro. I'll be creating assignments from the next stream. I wasn't very prepared for the stream, but I guess I'll be doing it from the next one. Okay, so I have a question for all of you guys. You just write it in the comment what will be the answer. Construct a function whose input is an array of whatever. Right. If that array is of type string, then then the function should return a string, otherwise it should return a null, if that makes sense. Right, easy one. Okay, Dipanshu, come on, just go for it. Use generics. The thing is, use generics for this function. Use generics for this function. That's what I want you guys to do. All of you guys, I'm waiting. Let's see who uh who do it the fastest. From the next stream, we'll be doing giveaways, I guess. So yeah, let's see who gives the answers. So easy one. Dipanshu, I think I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Dipanshu, right? So Dipanshu, let's see how much time do you take. All of you guys, I'm watching. I want like the answer fast. Let's see who who does who who does this the fastest. Come on, come on. Let's see. Let's see, bro. Come on, come on. Construct a type of function. Construct a type of function which accepts an array of whatever as a parameter, and if the array is okay. Here is Arnav's answer. I'm on my phone. Oh, that's sad. You're on your phone. I was expecting. Okay. So this is the answer given by Arnava. Okay. So let's like I think he couldn't write the function, all of those things. So let's do this. Let's write function for him. So this is the type he has given. So type of array. But bro, this is wrong, right? This is not the right answer. Still, anyone would like to try? Is anyone trying, or should I give the answer? If you're trying to say I'm trying, just wait. Otherwise, I'll give the answer. Is anyone else trying right now? Bro, I'm on phone. It's hard to type these things for. Okay, bro, it's kind of sad. I get it. You are on your phone. It's okay. It's very hard. I guess the condition shouldn't satisfy. Wait, I'm typing. Oh, Arvind is typing. Let's wait for the Arvind answer. Wait. Okay, I'm waiting, Arvind. We are waiting for you. Let's see what do we get as an answer from Arvind, and then we'll continue. So unknown should be introduced according to me. Unknown should be introduced. Uh, should return null. Yeah, it's okay. The question is it should return null. The Pangshu. So the question is it should return. Right now, I'll just tell you what is the wrong in this answer. What which Arnava Ghosh did. It's almost correct, but this is not conditional. See, it could return anything, even if the type is like the type of t is string. It could return null. I don't want that. I want strictly if t is string, it should return a if the type if the array is of type string, it should return a string. Otherwise, it should return a null. Again, so that's there. Oh, there was a condition inside. Yes, there is a condition inside, bro. There is a condition inside. So come on, try it, try it. I guess you guys could do it. Come on. This was a very what there's a lot of things left in TypeScript, bro. I can literally there's a return type of like functions and all those things. Uh, let's continue for a little bit. I think we can still do like we can pull off half an hour to an hour right now. I don't know. I'm not sure, but we can do it. We'll try to cover all those things. No answer so far is Arvind. I'm waiting for you. Come on. Let's do it. Come on. Give an answer. We want an answer. We want an answer. Come on. We are waiting. We are waiting for you. Oh, there was a condition inside. Yes, there was a condition inside, bro. Arvind, we are still waiting for you. Or should we give the answer? Should we start with the answer? I guess this should be like this shouldn't be like this. This should be like a little bit smaller like this so that you guys would look at your chat there. Yeah. So let's start with the answer, Arvind. If your answer matches with what I'm doing, great. Okay, this is almost correct. This is almost correct. This is correct, right? What you have to do is you simply have to put a condition over here. You would say if t extends, if t is basically a string, right? The like the it should be a string. Otherwise, it should be a null. Oh, I can do that. Seriously? I think we'll have to create a different type for this. Okay, that's interesting. So let's create a type of some function. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I wanted you guys to create a type. You guys are creating functions. Come on. this is no, bro. No, 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 no. I don't want you to create like return a string. I want to create a type. Okay. This is not a this is not a valid solution. Let's create type, create a valid solution. Type will say answer, whatever we have named it answer. You were almost correct. So we'll see if type equal to string. No, bro, you don't. No, no, no. You don't do that. You don't do that. You don't do that. That's not how you do it. You are writing like this type thing inside the function. You don't do that. You just create a type and then you assign it to the function, and it should work all flawlessly. Okay, so how you do this, let's define a generic called t, right? And it's a function, so it could be some input could be an array of t, right? Input could be an array of t, and the return, like it should return is if t extends a string, right? It should be a string, then it should be a string, otherwise it should be null. See, we have created, this is what I was expecting as an answer. Input as an array, input null. Arvind, you were almost there. So this is your answer. We'll be commenting this for a while. And now if we create like a test function, and if I just say answer, you'll see whatever if I give a array of one, like if I get given array of 1 2 3 4, I cannot return a string. I will have to return null, because because this I shouldn't do this, I guess. What is the expected this? What do you mean? Yeah, so you can see like this returns null, right? Because there's like nothing, right? So I can take I can say return null, and you can see this, you would be only able to specify if the input is like what we have something, we have few charts. So if input is array or null, Arvind, there is like return null or input the string. That's not correct, Arvind. Hold on, my chair went crazy now. Okay, so that is not correct. So what you're doing is you are manipulating the type inside this function. I don't want you to do that. I want you to create a type like this. So that's how you do it. See, an answer with type t if input is array, t extends string, otherwise that's how you do it. Okay, great. Now let's move ahead, and this was one of the exercises which we did, and now let's move ahead to some more TypeScript stuff. What do we have next? I want to see like all those like return type and all those things. You can derive oh, I get t extend string question mark. That is why I missed in my function. Yes, right, bro. When I'm talking about create a type, you should create a type, not like a function. When I say type, it should be a type, right? Okay. Or also like you missed this part. So if you write this, right? So if you like instead of this, if you write like if you write like you don't give this, right? This will be like it could be string, it could be null. It doesn't see the condition, right? So that's wrong. That was the wrong part. Okay. So let's move ahead. What is the next thing we should learn? Okay. So there's few things. Firstly, let's say we have a function, right? And we have some function like test, and it's returning a string, right? So by default, this has like this function has some type. So what you can do is you can extract the type from this. For example, let's move ahead, right? So let's say this was some function, and I want to extract the type of this. I want to extract this string or null, right? How do you? Oh, you wanted a type. Yes, I wanted a type, Dipanshu. Yeah. So okay. So how do you extract the return type of this function from this type, right? For example, this is a type. This could be a function. We'll be learning with function as well. But let's say, how do you extract that? So you extract that by something called type, return type of answer, return type of answer. I can name this anything. I'm just naming this return type of answer, right? So there's something called return type. So return type, and then what you can specify is you can specify and type over here. So what happened, bro? Generic type answer. Oh, this requires a generic type. So I'm saying like I'm passing like this could be a string. Yeah. So you can see I can actually get the return type of answer by using this keyword called return type. So return type is a keyword which is used to get a return type of a function. If you don't have a type, if you have a function, for example, like let's say let's create a function. Let's create const print function print I shouldn't say print, but still let's get So string and then this returns str, whatever, right? So this returns a string. So what do you see? This the return type of this is string, right? So because this is, we are taking string as an input and that's what we are returning. So let's say you have to extract this type. You have to extract the return type of a function. How do you do that? Still unknown will work. Anything expecting unknown can have a type grad and conventionally return. Exactly correct, Dipanshu. You're correct. Still, the unknown will still work. That's exactly correct. Yes, I agree with you. Okay. So you can extract the type of this print function. So I'll say type return type of this return type of print is equal to what will be there is return type of, again you cannot write print because print is now a function, it's not a type. How you can get a type of this print? You will have to say type of print, right? And then that's correct. So this should be, I guess, string. Yeah, this string, because it's extracting the type out of this print function, right? So that's how you use return type. Do we have anything get return type? Okay, that's you can, by the way, construct these, like these are given by default, but you can create of your own if you wish, like, if you know generics very well. I guess this is it. Do we have any other things? Template literals, uh yeah, you can also define template literals. That's kind of okay, that's very less used. Okay, I guess this would be pretty much it. I'll be concluding the stream right now. If you guys have any question, feel free to ask. And I think I have covered a lot of the very important things in TypeScript, which are used a lot. But if you think we need even another a more advanced TypeScript scheme, because there are a lot of things which we have missed, I'm pretty sure. A better version of this we can definitely do, and you can give suggestions for what we should do in the next stream. Uh, that would be amazing. What we should do in the next stream would be, can you explain what Dipanshu said with unknown and type guards? Okay, doing a great work, by the way. YouTube courses don't talk about generics and other types of techniques for avoid redundancy in such depth. Hey bro, I have an idea to learn TS. I'm going to make a library like TS. Oh, that's amazing, Arvind. That's a great idea. And thanks Dipanshu. And I'm pronouncing that Dipanshu, because yeah, I just want to create. I think advanced, like industry grade stuff should be available for free. Like the people should learn. Like it shouldn't. I'm not saying it should be available for free, but what I'm saying is it should be available on YouTube. Like people should talk of, like, people should get over like these simpler things and should talk about what's actually being used in the industry a little bit. Really like the, thank you Abdul. You, even if you have exam, you were sitting for so long in the night, so thanks and all the best for your exam again. And Urban, your idea is great. You should actually consider creating a library in TypeScript. Yeah, and all of you guys who want to like contribute, I would say just go to this repository. I have updated the UI. So all of you guys who are watching, I'm working on a patch where the UI will be updated. But we have this pixel art project. This is completely made in TypeScript. So I would request all of you guys who are over here to basically go over here and contribute this. See, we have fixed this as well. This is good now. So this works now. So you can comment on posts and do all of these things. So you can, I'll give you the GitHub link. So you guys could like try to contribute. What happened, bro? uh I think I'll give that GitHub link in the description. You guys could create PRs and I'll be reviewing them. So thank you each one of you, and I'm going to sleep. Okay, bye bye and have a good night. Okay. Bro, I don't know Next.js. Then what do I contribute? Bro, Next.js is not the thing. You know React, right? Our editor is crap right now. So I'll just show you what you can contribute. I'll just show you what you can contribute. Launch website. Where is pixel art project? Okay. Bro, see, this part is very crap. Like, you know React, right? If you know React, you can contribute on this part, right? So I mean, a lot of you can create new tools. Our fill doesn't work. You can fix this. Uh, you can do all those things. Thank you everyone, and I guess that's pretty much it. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a great night. Yeah. Bye. Any other questions? If you have, you can ask. I'm open for questions right now, but then we'll do a goodbye. If you have any questions, I'm there. Otherwise, we'll close the stream. I think, yeah, let's close the stream. I guess there's no questions. So bye and bye. Yeah.